So, Patty, we lost power this week.
I know.
And when I say we lost power, I mean we had nothing except for our batteries.
That was it.
And you are going to be shocked at what the cause of our power failure was. But we're going to discuss that in this week's episode of Travels with Delaney,
the podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And we are on the new podcast couch. And the reason I say that is we're not at home on our normal podcast couch, and we're not on the one we were on last week.
Right.
This is in our RV.
We just keep switching couches.
We just keep switching couches.
Yeah.
We are joined by Truman.
True man here.
And Bess, who is being unsociable, sitting off to the far side on her own little area.
And those that know them, they got groomed this week.
They did. They smell so good.
They smell like little air fresheners, like little clay air fresheners running around here. But you know what? They are bound and determined to get rid of that good smell.
I know. It's like they think they stink.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, we spent way too much money on you.
That's right.
Stay clean for a little bit longer.
Cheap.
No, it's not.
But you know what? Natalie, our groomer, she does
awesome.
an amazing job.
And they love her. They go right to her, and they make them cookies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, Patty.
Special.
Well, let's get this thing started, which means it's time for another round of this or that.
Oh.
So,
I have to be awake.
Patty, I don't think this is going to be a bad one.
All right.
I just built a campfire.
Okay.
I'm feeling, a little on the sweet side.
Yes.
Would you prefer I make you peach cobbler in the Dutch oven or bananas Foster in the cast iron skillet?
Oh, this is a no-brainer, honey. You know me too well. This has got to be the peach cobbler because I do not like hot banana.
Oh, okay. Let me change it to peaches Foster.
Peaches Foster.
Remember I did peaches Foster years ago.
You were like an attraction.
I was.
People came from all around the campground to see what you were doing. I'm going to still go with peaches.
Okay, peach cobbler?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of hot, mushy banana.
Yeah. See, I like bananas Foster. And if those of you listening are going, are you kidding? We just do s'mores around the campfire.
Well, we do that too.
We do that too.
But sometimes you like to be fancy.
Yeah. And so I have a big, I haven't used it in a long time, big cast iron Dutch oven. And I used to make peach cobbler in it.
You did.
But, yeah, I used to make bananas Foster. And one time I made peaches Foster, which I just basically altered the recipe because I think I do now remember you saying you didn't care for the bananas.
Yeah, I'm not a big hot banana fan.
Yeah, and I remember at the campground office, I went up one day and I said, do you have any vanilla ice cream? And she said, yeah. And I said, good, because I'm making bananas Foster. And she, looked at me like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And then, don't you remember where we camped across was where the tenters were?
Yeah.
And they were just in awe. They were watching because we had the tripod over the fire. Yeah. We were just really camping.
We were roughing it.
We were.
Sort of.
We had a tab.
We had a tab at the time. But I do remember their eyes lit up because when I sprinkled the cinnamon.
And it went pow with
and
sparks.
You get that nice sparkly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you were just like entertainment.
See, I should have probably just went with the old s'more or pudgy pie.
And that would have been easy too. Which one do you think I would have picked?
I'm guessing pudgy pie.
Actually, I'd pick a s'more.
Really? Because I didn't think you were that big of a fan of s'mores.
And then one reason I picked s'mores is because it got chocolate in it. Now, if the pudgy pie had chocolate, then yeah. I'm just complicated tonight.
You are a very complicated woman, Patty Snyder McCormick. So.
Yeah, right.
I'm
very dull.
Well, I don't think you're dull.
Yeah, I live a very boring life.
All right, we just lost 75% of our audience talking about how complicated you are. So
all right, moving on.
Maybe we should move on.
Let's do.
Move on down the road.
On down the road.
Well, I opened by saying we lost power this week. And I think that was on...
Wasn't it Sunday?
It was Sunday. No, I don't think it was Sunday.
It was Sunday because you were still working up in the office. I ran out. You came back.
That's right. It was Sunday. And I came in and I thought, gosh, it feels kind of warm. Truman and Bess and I were sitting outside.
I ran to the grocery.
And I thought, well, I'll just bump the AC down a little bit. And I did. And I waited. And I'm like, why isn't it turning on?
Nothing. Crickets.
And then this is how you always know, I think in every RV, that your power is out is you look at your microwave. And if you don't see the time. you have no 110 current. And I'm like, oh, no, what's going on? So... And at first it was like, oh, the power's out or we tripped a breaker.
Right.
And then I remembered we have the Victron 3000 Multiplus, which means even if the power goes out, I know, more power.
It's supposed to like be miracles.
Yeah, like you normally when the power goes out, we don't even notice. Like our Victron just kicks in, and we have the 600 amp hours of batteries. And I'm like, okay, that's not good.
This is not good. Yeah.
So I went out. First I tried to Bluetooth the Victron, and it was not showing up. And I'm like, this is not good. This is even worse. So I had to remove the panel out in the outdoor storage to get to the Victron, and it was reading low battery.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what?
Low battery. So I was still able to Bluetooth the shunt and the solar charger.
Right.
And both of them said we were at over 14 volts of battery, which is fully charged. And I'm like, this isn't making any sense. And so I ended up texting Myron.
Right, our friend. Our son.
From Landstar RV.
He's not really our son.
Which this is a good spot to. We're not paid by Myron. But Myron does take care of us.
Yes, he does.
As in, he comes out on a moment's notice.
Yep.
But if you're ever in Northeast Indiana and you need your RV repaired or you want to do a modification, I highly recommend giving Myron a call.
Is it called Landstar?
Landstar RV. I will leave his number down in the show notes or the description if you're watching.
I need to go
YouTube.
bing, bing.
Yeah. I'm not. Well, if they're listening, there's no place to put it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But no, and the thing is, Myron works full time at a major RV manufacturer during the day. In fact, I think he told me today he's like the lead of the electrical crew or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's got like a title. Like,
wow.
I mean, he works on RVs, but he's like the crew leader.
Oh geez, we got a celebrity.
I know, and so he's got very affordable rates, and he will come out here to Happy Acres Campground.
Oh yeah,
in
he's
Angola.
Lately all the time.
He pretty much lives here because everybody's using him because he's affordable. He's
quick,
professional, timely. Yeah.
And he's just so
He gets the job done.
Yeah. He does.
He really does.
He's a hard worker. Yeah.
So anyway, Myron showed up Monday afternoon.
Yeah, poor kid.
And he was here. I am not kidding.
Wasn't it 5 hours?
At least 5 hours.
Oh, my gosh. Because I got home from school, and I knew he'd be here. But he looked really I've never seen him look kind of frustrated.
Yeah.
He looked really frustrated. I'm like, this isn't good.
I think what he did was he tried to go in and, program the Victron.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having the same issues of not being able to get it to respond or connect. And then he was taking readings, and he had power coming into the trailer, but yet nothing was working.
Right.
And so when I got off work at 6, I came back to the campsite, and he had uninstalled the Victron.
Right.
He had already started a warranty claim. And he said, I'm going to tie your power back in just like if there wasn't an inverter, so you guys will have power tonight.
Yeah,
I was like,
should
great.
Go. Yeah.
And he did, and nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And he was testing everywhere. He's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's like, was it your pedestal? Is it the campground pedestal?
Yeah, so that's where we started at. Well, I say we started because this is like 4.5 hours.
Well, at that point, when you were here.
So he said, let's drop it down to 30 amps. So we converted down to 30. Nothing. We converted down to 110. Nothing. So then I ran the 110 because I had enough extension cord to go to the neighbor's pedestal. Nothing. So that ruled out that it was our pedestal.
Right.
Which we knew, but you
still just want to test it because he's like, maybe something weird happened.
And so literally he was scratching his head.
He was. He looked tired.
Yeah. And I was like thinking, what could this be?
Bad.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is bad. And I looked at the power cable.
Right.
At the pedestal, and I noticed that outer black rubber vinyl, whatever it is,
coating,
was below the actual plug to where
it slipped down. Yeah,
like it slipped down, and you could see actual wires,
right.
like red, green, white, black.
Very pretty.
Very pretty.
Very
colors
pretty.
of the rainbow.
They're beautiful. Yeah. I don't think I want to see those colors.
I would prefer not to see them in our electrical cable.
Yeah.
So I said to Myron, could this be a problem? And he's like, well, it could be, but the only way to know is we need another cable.
Right. And this is what was funny.
So Myron's looking around the campground at like who he's going to steal a cable from.
All the different trailers. He's like,
are they there?
Are they there? Are they
like, Myron, we're not taking anybody's cables. So I texted our neighbor, Angie, who just happens to own the campground, and said, by any chance, do you have any Grey Poupon? No, by any chance, could I borrow your 50 amp cable for like 5 minutes? And so she ended up texting back and saying, let me shut everything down. We went over, grabbed her cable, brought it back over here, and instantly the trailer fired up.
Right. Because you just know, because the microwave goes bing, and then all of a sudden, and then the air came on, and lights came on that were on before. And it was so cute you guys were out there because we have these big windows and I can see out. Myron goes, it's on? His little head was like a lemur cat. It's on. I said, it's on. Game on.
And there was part of me thinking about just keeping the cable. And then when Angie says, where's my cable? I'd be like, what cable? I don't know what you're talking about. But no, so we returned the cable. And there was really nothing we could do because at that point it was probably 7:30 at night.
Well, and we were very lucky that it happened this time of year around here because it cools off at night into the low 50s and upper 40s, and so we didn't have to worry about being hot.
Right.
It cooled off quickly.
Yeah. So, and then Myron goes, well, that makes sense because I was getting he was trying to read somewhere at the other end of the cable, and he's like, that makes sense because he was getting all these weird readings, and it's probably because as we were moving the cable
it was doing,
we'll get to why
in a minute.
So we'll stay with us. We're getting to the second part of this story.
So now you figured out that it's the cable.
So we know it's the cable. So I'm online after Myron leaves, and I'm looking because I'm thinking we're going to go to Camping World the next day and get one.
Right.
Because that's what we did with the Lance.
Right.
The Lance cable went bad.
Yeah, it was like, melting?
It was actually melting. Mm-hmm. We saw the plastic melting, and before it did any damage, we
got rid of it. Mm-hmm.
So I get online. Camping World doesn't stock, according to their website, 50 amp power cables.
What the world?
And if they did, it was like $350.
Isn't that nuts?
So I got thinking, I was like, why couldn't I just replace the end? I don't know why I was making the assumption, but so I ordered an end from Amazon, but it wasn't going to be delivered till Wednesday, and I think it was like $35. So the next morning, I was like, you know what? I bet an RV dealership might stock these. So I call up to Bishop's, home of Josh, the RV nerd. That's right. Up in Coldwater, Michigan, and the service person that answered said, "Hang on, let me go check." He comes back. He says, "Yeah, I've got them in stock," and I said, "I'll be up in 45 minutes." So I go up there, and this was kind of the shocking part. They were $30. They were $5 cheaper at Bishop's than they were at
Camping World.
At Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
Yes.
Wow.
And they stock 50 amp power cords.
Nice.
And they were $100 less than Camping World.
Oh my goodness.
So I could have bought the whole cord.
Right.
For $250, but instead I opted for the $30 plug.
The cheaper version.
Yes, which for a normal person is a really easy job. For Patrick,
that took a little effort, huh?
But
you did well, honey.
I did do well. So I bring it home. I actually went to the house to do it.
Okay. I did not know this. I'm still teaching, so.
And I thought, I want to see what's causing the problem.
Right.
And I don't know, if for those of you that have the molded, where it just looks like one big molded plastic end that you plug into your pedestal.
Right.
I don't know why in my head I envisioned like the wires were all surrounded by rubber.
Yeah.
So I start cutting it open only to find that that's not what it is. There's actually a hard plastic case under there. And so I get the outer rubber off.
Right.
And then I unscrew it. There was like 4 screws holding it together, pull it apart, and voila, our problem.
What was the problem?
The black wire and the white wire were not attached to their post, and they were commingling.
Canoodling?
They were canoodling.
And they're not supposed to canoodle.
I don't think so. No, they're to be at their own post. Now,
like, get at your side. Stay on your side.
The green wire firmly attached, but that was the ground.
Sure.
And then the white wire, and I don't know what that was because I don't know much about electricity other than I know green is ground.
Okay.
It was firmly on its post. But these 2 wires, and I couldn't tell, they may have touched like as you moved it.
Right.
But the point is they were not where they were supposed to be attached to their.
Okay.
And that's what was causing the problem.
The issue. All right.
Yeah. So then I just followed the instructions. And I have to tell you, the instructions were awesome because it basically said you trim, you make sure there's like 1 3/4 inches of the green wire showing, and then you trim back like a 1/2 inch to expose the wire, and then like the red and black were a little shorter, and the white was the shortest.
Gotcha.
And that's because that way when you go to put it in there, they're at different places on that plug.
Sure.
And you literally just unscrew and you slide the wire between the 2 plates, screw it in tight.
Yeah.
And then, 4 screws hold it on and whatever.
And dun-da-da-da.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said in the video that I recorded. I went, ta-da! And then I was like, maybe we should hold this till we get back to the camper.
Not ta-da.
Because we didn't know if it was going to work.
Yeah.
But I brought it over, and we've been running fine
Perfect.
since. And
Good
then,
job.
in the meantime, Myron had taken the Victron back to his shop
to do some tests
and do what he called a bench test.
Just wanted to make sure it wasn't all kaput.
And it was working fine.
Good deal.
So he canceled the warranty claim.
Nice.
And he was out today, reinstalled, all back together, and everything's working good.
Knock on wood.
So, what is the point of this podcast?
Yeah, what is the point?
Well, I just wanted now. If you may have already watched the video about this if you watch our YouTube channel, Travels with Delaney, I did make a video because I felt this information was so important, and that's why I wanted to talk about it on today's podcast, because I believe there are people who listen to our podcast who go RVing that maybe don't watch our YouTube channel. And the point is, if you see anything wrong with your power cable, like where it's pulling away or the plastic or the rubber is melting, you need to fix it ASAP.
Right.
Because I don't want you guys to end up going out there camping and then one day just having no power.
Yep.
Or worse yet, maybe doing damage to the electronics.
Right.
And, so that's why I wanted to share this. And the fact that if I could change the end, I believe anybody could change the end.
Well, and see, we are also very, I guess, savvy. We have stuff that because we boondocked before. So you brought over the Blue Eddies.
Right. We got by for, 48 hours.
Right, because I needed to, because I'm still working, I needed to, blow dry my hair, and I couldn't do that unless I had the little red, which is the little Blue Eddy. And then we had the big Blue Eddy for different things like your coffee maker and just different things we needed to use until we could get the
And then we had that little charging block for things like the phones and your watch and things like that.
Yeah, so our boondocking came into play that we used to do a lot of.
And, I guess we made the assumption that the inverter was the issue.
Right.
And I always say you should start with the obvious low-hanging fruit, which is the pedestal, the breakers, the fuses. I never thought, and Byron and I both had looked at that stuff, never thought that the power cable itself could be the issue.
Right.
So, anyway, we hope that maybe save somebody down the road.
Right.
Keep an eye on your power cord. Make sure the wires aren't falling or pulling out.
Or looking weird.
Or like I said, if you even see the plastic or the rubber starting to melt, that's a sign something's not right. And you either need to replace the cable or do what I did, save a lot of money if you can replace the end.
Yeah, because my 5th graders would say, that's sus.
That's sus.
That's
sus.
If
you see it getting hot, it's
sus.
It's sus plus. So.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week for another episode.
Yeah.
Want to give a huge shout out to our good friend
Jim.
He produces, edits.
Thank you, Jim.
He's the one that makes us sound great.
Yes.
And we honestly could not do this podcast without him.
Correct.
And without all of you listening, well,
there just wouldn't be anybody to listen, I guess.
I guess it'd just be you and me having a conversation
and
by
Jim.
ourselves. And Jim having to edit it for us.
Poor Jim.
So thank you to all of you who listen.
Yeah.
And leave comments on the platform you're listening to.
And again, if you have something you want us to do on a podcast
let us know. We'd love to hear your questions you want to answer.
We can do that. Yeah.
Or ideas that you want us to talk about. Let us know.
What's up, man?
What's up?
What's up?
All right. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you.
On down the road.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.